Welcome, my friends. Instrumentation and Control channel. Happy New Year. Hope you have enjoyed a lot at 31st night. Today, I will discuss on vibration measurement system. So, this is the part one video where I will give a introduction on vibration probes, vibration measuring systems, the role of the vibration probe, uh, probe type, what type of probe used in vibration measurement, basic discussion on FFT, fast Fourier transform analysis, etc. in this video. What is gap voltage? All those things I will discuss in this video. In part 2, I will discuss on Bedley Nevada system 3500 rack. So, okay, let's start. So, first of all, what is vibration? Vibration sensor basically converts the mechanical forces to electrical signal. It has both the magnitude and the direction, so it is a vector quantity. So why vibration measurement is so important and what are the roles of the vibration measurement in industrial application? Vibration measurement is an important countermeasure to prevent breakdown of important or costly machines or asset of the industry like turbine, compressor, pump, cooling tower fan, agitator, etc. For an example, if one critical pump or agitator is running, it has some minimum vibration because every rotary machine has some natural vibration. So we have to monitor the machine's performance whether it is deteriorating or it is smooth. So that's why vibration measurement is so important because one pump, one agitator, one turbine, compressor are very costly. It is above the crore. So it is concerned when the vibration beyond the limit, and this limit is defined by the particular manufacturer of the pump or turbine or compressor. So for example, suppose you have installed one vibration sensor in a pump. Hmm, just a minute. So you have installed one vibration sensor. For example, this is your pump. This is your rotary part, and this pump is moving. Your vibration sensor, for example, is installed here, and another one is here. I'll detail explain later. So your vibration is measuring the pump performance. For example, when there is no problem in the pump, your trend is like this. Suppose 5 mm, always showing 5 mm, means displacement. We will discuss in this matter. So suppose this is the natural vibration of the pump. For example, there is some problem in the pump, so the trend is becoming increasing trend like this. For example, the tolerable limit may be this. So we have to set one alarm before the tolerable limit. So this is your limit, limit 1. When the vibration trend crosses this limit, it will give a alarm, and when it cross this limit, this is the ultimate limit, it will trip the pump, or you have to stop the pump manually depend on the alarm. So this is the alarm system or tripping system, how it's work for the vibration sensor. Just a minute, I'm erasing this. So this is a vector quantity, both it has direction and value. So machine vibration is typically measured and reported in terms of displacement, velocity, and acceleration. So you know that displacement unit is in millimeter or meter like that. Velocity unit per second, and acceleration unit is millimeter per second square. In these two unit, vibration can be measured in industry. So here you can see a plot. The plot below is called the time-based plot. It is a time-based plot which has the amplitude in y-axis, and the time is taken at x-axis. The time is increasing from the left to right, and amplitude also increasing from the 0 to top. So you can see positive peak of acceleration is coming fast before the velocity, and velocity is coming fast before the displacement. So acceleration is a very important term to measure the vibration. It will capture the vibration fast. So when we measure the movement of the machine housing, we are measuring basically the movement caused by the forces. These forces are transmitted through the bearing to the machine casing. So bearing is the inner part. I already said to you, bearing here, and it is the shaft, and it is the two sensor installed apart at 90 degree apart from each other. The acceleration. So when the this rotor or shaft experience the vibration, or it transmits the forces to the bearing part, outer part, and this bearing part uh, transmit the forces to the casing part, and this casing part transmitting the vibration to the vibration tip. This way it is measuring the vibration. Okay, so force is transmitting from center of the machine to the outer surface. This way vibration transmitted. Now if you see that there are two type of vibration measurement. One is continuous, it is measuring the vibration, and another one is periodical. Periodical means I am explaining it. Continuous means, suppose this is a palm, for example, and three vibration sensor is installed at three separate points to measuring the different type of vibration of the machine. Someone is measuring the shaft vibration, someone is measuring the coupling vibration, someone measuring the motor vibration. It is the motor part, it is the pump part. So like that. So this is a continuous measuring system, vibration sensor installed in the pump, and the output signal transmitted to the DCS or your Bentley Nevada rack to measure the vibration. So this is a continuous monitoring. You can see the continuous trend in your system. Now this is the periodical measurement. How? Suppose same sensors are installed here, and you periodically taking the data, collecting the data through a handheld, means it is a portable instrument which can collect the vibration data from the sensor directly, and then data is uploaded in your computer, and then the computer uh, analyzes the vibration spectrum through the FFT algorithm. This way it is giving you the machine health periodically. Maybe you can weekly basis you can check the data, or monthly basis, uh, depends on your criteria. Now There are mainly two types of vibration measurement. One is absolute, and second one is relative vibration. So, what is absolute vibration? In absolute measurement, transducer mounted on the bearing housing or machine casing, it measures the shaft means it measures the shaft stresses. Generally, piezoelectric transducer used for the absolute measurement. So, if I draw it, just for better explanation, I am drawing it. What is absolute vibration? See, this is your, for example, pump. This is your shaft. Outer surface is bearing. This is your bearing. Shaft is moving. Now, for absolute vibration measurement, पेन किधर गया? Absolute vibration measurement, your sensor is installed at the casing. Okay, this is your casing part. This part is the casing part of the machine. So your piezoelectric accelerometer or velometer is generally used for this purpose. This vibration sensor is installed directly to the casing. So how it's look like? It has a base. This base is installed at the casing, and this base had a female thread here, female thread. Okay, and your vibration probe is like this. This has a male thread part. You have to insert this vibration sensor inside this female part, and you have to tighten that. And this base is mounted on the casing here. For example, here by the adhesive or by the welding, it may be. So this way absolute vibration measurement is done. And the second part is the relative vibration measurement. In relative vibration measurement, what is happening? Just compare both. This is your casing part, this is your shaft part, and vibration sensor is inserted inside the machine here. And the outer part is the bearing. The sensor should not touch. There is a minimum gap. I will discuss on this gap measurement also later. So there should be a gap between the bearing part and the sensor tip, and this is proximity sensor is used for this principle. I will discuss later part. So this is the proximity sensor installed. Okay, and this is the piezoelectric accelerometer is installed for this casing measurement, and proximity sensor is inserted for the relative vibration measurement. So this is the two type of vibration measurement used in industrial application. And just erasing it. Nowadays, vibration measurement is a very important part, because uh, industries are using this vibration sensor for the asset monitoring. I'll discuss asset monitoring later. Now we have seen that two type of vibration measurement are there. One is absolute vibration measurement, and another one is relative measurement. And now, depends on the position, there are two type of again two type of measurement, that is axial position, and another one is radial position. So in axial position or radial position, which position I will install the vibration depends on the your criteria, what type of vibration you want to measure. basically. That is important for axial or radial, which type of vibration you want to measure. For example, just it is a hand draw. Uh, a fan is moving and vibrating upwards and downwards, means vertically. Okay, this vibration I want to measure whether it is vertically vibrating or not. In this case, radial position is used. So I have to put the sensor maybe here. Just control P. I have to install a vibration sensor here. Just for example, so this distance can be measured, this displacement can be measured, so that I can guess that vibration in vertical direction or not. And for axial, this is longitudinal. Uh, this vibration is like this, horizontally. So in this case, maybe I have to install the sensor like this, so that I can measure this vibration, whether this is vibrating or not. And in radial, whether this vibration is not, I have to measure. So depend on position, we have two type of measurement, that is radial or axial. Axial is called thrust also. So I'm erasing it. So now, what is the vibration loop? Please listen carefully. If you listen the whole video carefully, you can pass any interview regarding the vibration sensor, all those things. So, what is the loop look like in vibration measurement system? See, this is your object. I am starting from field. This is your object or shaft, pump shaft, anything else which I want to measure the vibration. And now, one piezoelectric or proximity sensor is used, installed here. So this is your sensor, vibration sensor. This is the magnetic field. I'll discuss in later. And this is the your sensor cable. If the proximeter is connected near, then this cable is sufficient. Now, for example, this proximeter field JB is connected far away from the proximity sensor, then you have to use the extension cable. So it is the extension cable coupler. By the coupling you can connect to cable. So that is called extension cable, whose length is from 3 meter to 8.5 meter, and the resistance is around 5 to 9 ohms. Okay, proximeter output now goes to the, now this is connected to the proximeter. I will discuss each of the component role. Uh, just now, just carefully look the loop. Now, so the proximity sensor or piezoelectric sensor is connected to the proximeter. This is called proximeter. It is connected in the, installed in the field JB, and that output going to the barrier. Okay, barrier, and after that, that barrier to it is going to the your BN rack. This is BN 3500 rack, and I have just zooming the one card, that is called proximeter card 3500 model slash 42M. This is the model. So going to the, and this is the front view and this is the rear view. Okay, it's look like this, and your barrier is look like this. Now, what is the role of the, I have already explained the piezoelectric or proximity sensor. I'll discuss the working principle also. Now, what is the role of the proximity transducer? This proximity transducer system provides the electrical signal that represent the distance between the conductive surface. This is conductive surface means the object and the probe tip. This is the probe tip. This distance is measured by the proximeter. The proximeter contains proximeter contains an electronic circuit which has two parts. One is oscillator circuit, that is generating the radio frequency RF, whose frequency is from 500 kilohertz to around 2 megahertz. And another part is demodulation circuit. Demodulation circuit means, just a minute. So it has both part. One is oscillator circuit and one is demodulator. So oscillation circuit is required to excite the probe, and demodulation circuit is required what the frequency or all those things means signal transmitted from the probe to the proximeter, that can be separated and can be sent to the barrier. So proximeter, just a minute, so proximeter needs, I'll discuss. Proximeter needs minus 18 volt to around minus 24 volt DC supply, and the supply connected between the VT and COM, this terminal. Once the proximeter is powered, it will generate the RF signal. This is indicating the RF signal at a specific frequency. Now, what is the role of the barrier? So, barrier maybe have two part or maybe one part. First and foremost role of the barrier is intrinsic safety module. It is an intrinsic safety module limiting the energy. It limits the energy so that the explosion proof means explosion due to the sparking, all those things will not happen. That's why this barrier is installed. First, it is a means is work on the Jenner diode principle. Addition to that, explosion protection, isolation is the second part of the barrier. Isolated barrier offers galvanic isolation to protect the measurement and control circuit from the signal distortion or surge. If there is a surge or there is a noise that can be transmitted to the analysis part, so that can be avoided by the galvanic isolation. So this has two part. One is the protection part, that is from the by energy limiting, and second part is the isolation from the surge, etc. So this is the basic loop. It can be proximeter, can be piezoelectric transducer, anything else, but the basic loop is this. So now what are the signal characteristics? You have to know the signal characteristic very, this is a important features, because after vibration measurement, analysis is the major part. This is also the scope of the mechanical person. This is a specialist job, analysis part. So there are 5 basic signal characteristics that need to be observed. Number 1 is amplitude, second frequency, third phase, fourth form, and fifth is the position. All of them To measurement the to analysis the vibration successfully, you have to carefully measure all these five signals. So these five signals are equally important to successfully analysis the vibration. So you may know that first part is the amplitude. So amplitude can be measured peak to peak. This is the peak to peak. Peak to peak value is the highest voltage that the waveform will ever reach. Like it is the peak of the highest mountain point. Second part is the RMS, root mean square. RMS. This is the most effective value of the total waveform. This RMS contains the maximum energy level. So this RMS measurement is most important. It is equal to the level of the DC signal that would provide the same average power as the periodical signal. The formula is there, you know, V RMS is equal to V peak into 0.707. But in vibration measurement system, by applying the formula, RMS measurement is not recommended. RMS should be measured directly from the sensor to your. Sorry, one important phone call came. So, and this is the second signal characteristic that is very important, that is the frequency. You know already what is the frequency. Frequency is nothing but f is equal to 1 by t. So if you measure the t time, then frequency can be calculated. So frequency is defined as the repetition rate of a periodic vibration within a unit of time, period of the cycle. Okay. So second and the third signal characteristic is very much important, that is the phase angle. So phase is defined as the timing relationship in degrees between the two or more signals. For example, just a minute. For example, suppose you have a vibration signal. Uh, just a minute. This is your axis. So you have a vibration signal. Always you are measuring like this. For example, this is your vibration signal you are measuring. For example, one day you have noticed that this signal is coming like this. Okay. So this is the difference which you have noticed. That means your machine has some problem. So this way, this phase angle measurement is very much important. Okay. Okay, just a minute, erasing it. And second one, and the last one is the form. Form means vibration form is the raw waveform, raw data, and can be separated into two categories. One is time based presentation, and second one is orbital presentation. Orbit, I'll just give you the little bit introduction. Orbit is a very important features of the vibration analysis. time base and oscilloscope displays the vibration in units of the transducer versus the horizontal across the display. So this is the time base. Actual this is the actual frequency means this is the actual trend looks like. Actual trend is a little bit complex. It's not like that the sinusoidal wave, all those things. It is very critical to analysis. So that's why algorithm is used to uh, measure the vibration system. So this is also very much important for identify the problem of the machine. And this is one most important features, that is the orbit. This analysis is a role of the job of a means specialist. This is a specialist job. Orbit, shape, frequency, amplitude, all those things. For example, from the orbit you can identify different type of problem like this. This is your normal orbit, how looks like. Okay, this is the unbalance. When there is a machine unbalance means you have seen that your bicycle tire sometime unbalance. So we have to balancing that uh, to center the tire inside the ring, that is called unbalance. So when the machine is unbalanced, it is look like a ellipse. And if your shaft is misaligned, then this eight shape, or this heart shape, or this is the tornado shape may occur. So like this you can analysis your machine, what type of problem is there. So it is the most important part, that is the sensor type. Mainly there are three type of sensor: a piezoelectric sensor, three type of transducer system in measuring dynamic motions are one is a piezo proximity transducer, second one is velocity transducer, and third one is accelerometer. So I will now discuss the working principle of the three type of means your sensor. Okay, so this is your piezoelectric sensor. So this is a piezoelectric sensor. You can see earlier also I have drawn this type of sensor. This is a male connection portion, and there is a base which is a female part. You can insert this thread inside the female, and you can tie it by your slide wrench. So a piezoelectric sensor is a device that use the piezoelectric effect. You know the piezoelectric effect, to measure changes in pressure, acceleration, temperature, strain, or force by converting them in electrical charge. So this is your piezoelectric element, and this is your mass. A mass is attached to a piezoelectric crystal which is mounted on the case. So this sensor is mounted on the casing. Okay, inside this one piezoelectric element, one mass is there. Now, when the accelerometer body is subjected to vibration or force, if there is a force or vibration which can be formed of compression, tension, or shear. Okay, so if this type of forces applied to this, as a result, the mass compress. This mass compress and stretches the piezoelectric crystal. This force is uh, proportional to the your acceleration. So according to Newton's second law, F is equal to ma. M means mass, A means acceleration, F means force, F is equal to ma, and that converted to the charges. The charge output is then converted into low impedance voltage output with the help of your electronic circuit. There is electronic circuit. Now this is the typical specification of a piezoelectric transducer. The output voltage is minus 12 volt DC. Sensitivity is 100 millivolt per G or 500 millivolt per G. One is low for low frequency measurement and another is for high frequency measurement. Millivolt per G. What does it mean? This means at 9 G means acceleration due to gravity, which value is 9.8 meter per second square. Now this means that when there is a acceleration 9.8 meter per second square, output will be 100 millivolt for this sensor. Okay, this sensor, and it will be 500 millivolt per G when there is a acceleration 9.8 meter per second square, then the output will be 500 millivolt. Okay, and the peak acceleration, maximum acceleration, it goes to 80 G, 80 times G. Okay, this is the specification of the piezoelectric transducer. This has a piezoelectric and this has a mass. If you give the force here, so the piezoelectric will be compressed and it will generate the electric signal. This is the property of a piezoelectric. So it is used, this piezoelectric sensor is used for the casing, to measure the casing vibration. Okay. Now velocity or velometer, it is called, the same principle it has. The difference, only difference is that your piezoelectric transducer has a integrated circuit which converts your vibration signal to the 4 to 20 milliamps. Then it's become the velocity or velometer. Okay. So it has a integrated circuit which converts the vibration to the 4 to 20 milliamps signal. Nothing else. Principle is same. So this is your proximity sensor. Now, very important, proximity sensor. So proximity sensor has an oscillator which generates this, the proximity sensor. This is your proximity sensor, this is your proximeter, this part. So it has a, I already discussed that it has a oscillation circuit which generates the radio frequency, which is around 500 hertz to 500 kilohertz to 5 megahertz. This signal produces the low energy electromagnetic field around the probe tip. Low energy electromagnetic field around the probe tip. This is the probe tip, and this is your object, means shaft maybe. When the conductive material, this is the conductive material like shaft, come into the contact of the electromagnetic field, the alternating electromagnetic field induces a small eddy current flows in the surface of the shaft. Okay, so it is giving the RF frequency. Here one magnetic field is introduced. When the shaft come near to the magnetic field, there is a eddy current passes through this shaft. The penetration depth of the eddy current depends on the material's conductivity, of course, and permeability. When there is a no conductive material within this RF range, suppose this is far away from this, the virtually all the power released, what happened? This power will be released and to the surrounding area and will return to the probe. So there is a no signal loss when there is a no object. Now when a conductive surface approaches to the probe tip, the RF signal set off a small eddy current on the surface. So there is a signal loss of the RF frequency. This is the measurement of the vibration, or means distance. It is basically measuring the distance. If there is a vibration, distance will change. So this way, this RF sensor or proximity sensor works. When vibration is nearer the target, then the maximum power loss. And this way it is measuring the output. The output voltage of the proximeter is linearly proportional to the gap. This is called gap measurement. Now you have to understand the what is gap voltage. Very much important. It is the gap voltage is nothing but the voltage in DC form transmitted after probe tube adjusted in the front of the object. For example, just a minute. If you have a object and you are installing a proximity sensor, so this is your support, this is the proximity sensor, this is the thread part of the proximity sensor, thread part. Okay, so you have to adjust proximity sensors so that you have to adjust this gap so that the output should be approximately minus 10 volt DC. Okay, minus 10 volts DC should be output. For example, if you have minus 8 volt, you have to adjust the probe tips forward or backward so that it will come to the minus 10 volt DC. Why minus 10 volt? Because the range of the proximeter is minus 2 volt to minus 18 volt. Minus 2 volt to minus 18 volt. And minus 10 volt is the middle of the range. So that it can measure both side vibration, forward and backward. When setting at minus 10 volt, probe can equally measure vibration at both sides, means when the shaft is going away from the probe or towards the probe. Now, the question is why negative voltage is used in Bentley-Nevada system. At 1930, when Don Bentley worked on making solid state version of the eddy current measurement system, he had a choice between the NPN or PNP transistor. Then transistor was very costly and PNP transistor was least expensive. So he used the PNP transistor. And you know that PNP transistors record the negative voltage bias. PNP transistor, it has a negative voltage bias. You can negative voltage. That's why Bentley Nevada system use negative voltage. Nowadays it is range around from 0 to minus 24 volt DC. Okay. Now control erase. So now so this is the key phasor. Okay. What is key phasor? Very important part. So key phasor is a transducer that produce a voltage pulse for each turn of the shaft called the key phasor. For key phasor part, proximity sensor is used. Just a minute. Suppose you have a shaft and for install the key phasor, it should have a notch like this. Okay, your sensor is installed here. For example, this short shaft is rotating, so it will give a pulse like this. This is at 0 rpm, Now it is rotating, full rotate. After full rotate, it will give a another pulse. So so it will understand the analyze means the specialist will understand the one rotation is complete. Okay, so this is your first pulse when the notch is there, then the it is flat, it is rotating, and when the notch again come in front of the sensor, it will give the second pulse. This way it can understand the machine is running smoothly. For example, this pulse is changed like this. So there is a problem. Definitely there is a problem. Machine has some problem. So this way key phaser helps to protect the machine. So you can see this is a rotating object. When one teeth is coming in front of the key phaser, it is giving the pulse. Like this, it is working. And this is the sensor orientation part, installation part. How you will install the sensor. This is the guideline, and you can install the sensor, proximity sensor or visuality sensor, like this. This is the horizontal vibration, this is the vertical vibration, and the angle between the two sensors would be 90 degree. Or you can install like this is the horizontal sensor, this is the vertical sensor, angle will be 90 degree. Or you can install like this is the vertical, this is the horizontal, and this is the 90 degree apart from each other. Very simple. This way you have to install the vibration. I'll just giving a small introduction to the analysis part. This is a specialist job, not so easy. I also don't have so much depth on this analysis part. So now I'll explain this. These are there are mainly three algorithms which are used for the analysis. One is FFT, another is PSD, and spectrogram. Third one is spectrogram. So this tool can understand what frequency are being excited, what is the amplitude at each frequency, what changes throughout the waveform. See, in practical, you can see the how the frequencies look like is not so simple in given in the book. Analysis of each frequency and respected amplitude is very difficult. So you have to use fast Fourier transform to analysis the frequency. So this is the very much powerful tool FFT. You can see you can hear an industry that using FFT. So FFT is nothing but fast Fourier transform algorithm, which split all the frequency amplitude and analysis each part. So FFT uses sine or cosine waves of varying frequency, amplitude and phase. The FFT is a computational algorithm by which the complete spectrum is demodulated at a small spectrum for analysis. So this is a very important part, and this is a specialist part also, not so easy. So this is the part 1 video. I have all explained about all the vibration system, measurement system. In part 2 I will focus on the Bentley Nevada system, how the card configured and how connected to the card, each role of the each card, all those things. I will go to the Bentley Nevada 3500 rack. Okay, so thank you very much for watching my video. If you like, please like it, subscribe to motivate me. I'll going to release all important videos on instrumentation. Thank you very much.